is after I did this, and I only did it for like, it was like a year and a half, 2 years, when I got to be 7 or 8, I was a chubby kid. And then they said, okay, we're going to recast this. Then they put a girl in there, okay? And so I used to get I was getting these calls to go audition for other gigs. And I would get these other gigs. I'd get other commercials, okay? But what would hold me back was my mother wasn't into it, And but as I turned 10, I was not only chubby, I was a pimply faced kid, and I didn't stop getting the roles, okay? So that was very depressing. It was like really, I guess it was a mild child actor syndrome kind of thing. So I gave up on it altogether. I quit, okay? And I went into sports, which was a terrible mistake, okay? Because I was terrible at that. But I did the sports thing until I got to high school, and then when I got to high school, I was a troublemaker in high school. I had a motorcycle, and I had a leather jacket, and upside downside American flag. When I was in high school, it was the early 70s. Come on, that was the time to be alive. Okay, in high school. But I was a troublemaker, so I got in a lot of trouble, and we got this new principal, and to make a long story short, I got in so much trouble that he expelled me, okay? And the only way that I could get back into school is I had to follow certain rules, and his rules were that I had to join the football team, and of course that was a bad thing because the coach of the football team was the gym teacher who I always harassed, okay? And then I had to join the choir, and then I had to join the drama club. So what he didn't know at the time was he was bringing me back to life. And he did. Once I got back on that drama team and I got back in that chorus, I mean, my whole life became back. I mean, it was just, literally, I came back to life. So it was cool.
Are you a singer?
I can sing. It all depends on what I'm singing. It all depends on, I toured the Northeast in, a funny thing happened on the way to the Forum, and I played Pseudolus. But Pseudolus really doesn't sing, okay? Oh, what a word, oh, what a word. That's just kind of speaking, But I can sing.
Now, you do all of these things that we've mentioned so far in Newport. Do you have a day job?
Yeah, I work at Home Depot. Everybody's got to work somewhere, okay? Because the arts don't pay you enough to live, okay? We all have this pie in the sky dream, okay? I've always lived in the clouds, okay? And it's very hard for me to put my feet on the ground, okay? But right now, times are tough for everybody, okay? So I've managed to hold down a job for about a year and a half, and I'm actually okay with it for now, But eventually I want fame and fortune. That's all I want. That's all I've ever asked for. I mean, eventually I get to have it, I think.
So tell me a little bit more about the Newport RI series.
Well, one of the things that's amazing about the Newport RI series is that we took an entire 13 episodes. We didn't just cast one episode. We cast the entire 13 episodes. Okay, so that means 13 pieces of art that was done by a professional artist that all have a value of $6,000 or $7,000. Okay, it means casting everybody that's in those paintings, which is about 80 people. Which means you have to have now a crew that film it, okay? Here in Newport, Rhode Island, that's beautiful, and you need to film it at the right time of year, the summer, when it's the busiest, the fullest. And we managed to put together those 13 episodes, get those paintings that are all finished, get them printed, get them cast, and get them filmed for zero. Not one penny. We didn't have any money.
Were these donated by local businesses? Did you literally like hit the ground running and start asking people for favors?
Well, when I originally thought of the idea, I said, look, the only way this is going to work is I've got to talk to everybody that's on this project face to face, eye to eye, and just sell them on it. Excuse me. So what I did is I had a casting. And I literally spoke to every one of the people that came to the casting, and I explained to them what it was, and I sold them on the idea. And then I put an advertisement up on the Newport, New England Film and all the other film sites, and I said, I need film crew, I need a DP, I need everything I needed. And I got one of the best directors of photography out of Boston that works for some of the best film companies, who came down and sat across the table from me, and I put the pitch to him. And I'll never forget it, because I had a feeling that he was going to be a tough sell.
What was his name?
His name was Ben Held. And he's just a great kid, a great young guy, and you can tell that his whole life has been film. So after I told him the whole idea and I did my book, I closed my book and I said, "What do you think?" He said, "I'm in." I'm like, "You're in? I thought you were going to be like a tough sell." He's like, "I'll tell you what. I'll tell you why I'm in. I was in before I walked in the door. My mother's an artist. She loves art. She's not an artist, she loves art. And she used to sit and tell me stories. She'd take a piece of art and she would tell me these stories and make up these stories when I was young. I'm in. I want to bring these paintings to life." And what he really loved about it is that his eye for color is amazing, and he's seen these colors in these paintings, and every time he sees them, he has to go up to them again and put his face in them, and he's just so I was lucky enough to get him. But I also had another young man his name is Justin Martell, and he has a production company in New York City. But Justin was a young man that I kind of was a mentor to when he was like 13 years old, and he used to film these horror films in his house with his best friends, and they were terrible. And he used to ask me to watch them, and I kind of mentored him. But he's grown up, and he went to Franklin University, and now he's got a degree in filmmaking, and he has his own film company in New York. So I called him up and said, "Justin, this is a great project for us to work on." And he brought his guys. So we got this great crew. We had a crew of what, 10, 12 people. And we got a B&B to put these guys up for like weekends for nothing, okay? And we would step out of the B&Bs right down the street into Newport with our cameras and our it was amazing stuff. And we got it all done for nothing. Nothing. The Newport Daily News gave us the Newport Daily News for a whole day to film in the Newport Daily News for free.
You must be one hell of a salesman.
Well, I guess I am. But it's like anything else. It's passion, okay? If you have passion for something, it's easy to sell, okay? It's easy to sell Newport, Rhode Island. Okay, we've got Dallas, we've got 90210, we've got Hawaii 50. Why can't we have Newport RI? It's just as beautiful.
I would definitely watch it. I think we should actually watch a clip of the series now.
Absolutely, we have a trailer. Check out this trailer.
Good morning, Newport Gazette. May I ask who's calling? Hold, please. Hey, Tim. Line 2 of Mr. Richard Davenport.
Richard Davenport? Are you joking?
No, do you want me to tell him that you're out?
No, I'll take it. Richard freaking Davenport. I am not afraid to direct and cast myself, okay? But I have to be honest with you. The only reason I do it is because I can't find somebody who can do it as good as I can.
That's fair enough.
One of the things I didn't share with you is that when I graduated from high school, I was lucky enough on my last episode of my last play. My last play that I did in high school was Oklahoma. I played Judd Fry. And it was probably the best acting job I had done up until that point. And the last show I did in high school, it's a full house, and I did Poor Judd is Dead, and I had the audience crying. It was amazing. It was amazing stuff. And what I did know was in the audience was a guy who was the artistic director at the time for Trinity Rep. His name was Adrian Hall. So, and he was there to see his nephew. So after the show was over, we were out in the lobby, and he came up to me and says, "What are you doing this summer?" I said, "Nothing really. I'm just going to be going to Roger Williams." He said, "You want to come to Trinity?" So he gave me this apprenticeship to go to Trinity. It was great, it was awesome, but he was an ass, okay? He was like, I had never worked with anybody in the theater that was so demanding, and I mean, he would slap his hand down, hey, he would scream at us, you know, and I was like, oh God, I don't know if I like this. So after a year and a half going to Roger Williams, I realized I didn't want to learn about acting, I wanted to do it. So I went to New York with a buddy of mine, and we put like this knapsack on our back, and we went to New York, and we thought we were going to get there, and there was going to be this banner saying, "Whoa, Tom, you're here." Somebody forgot to put the banner up, okay? And what was really bad was that it was between the two of us, we had $50, and the bus stops at 42nd Street. Well, let me tell you something. In 1974, the bus stop at 42nd Street was not a place to be after dark, okay? All right, so we were there. We got there like 8:30 at night. We didn't know where we were. We didn't know what we were going to do. So we slept behind a dumpster, okay? We were scared to death. So we got up the next morning, and I said, "Let's go. I know where we're going." So I headed to Broadway. I knew where we were going. So we pounded on some theater doors, and we said, "Look, we'll paint. We'll do anything you want for food." And so we did that for a couple of months, and it was. But during that few months, it was I think it was from January. I think it was from June until like October. But in that little bit of time, we managed to put a lot of stuff into it, and I managed to actually sit in on several classes with Stella Adler. And I thought Adrian Hall was bad. This woman was crazy. This was at the end of her life. She was in like, she must have been 79, 80 years old, and she was out of her mind. I mean, but I learned a lot about acting. She beat me down. She beat everybody down. So.
She beats you down so that you can build yourself up, right?
Right. And so that's why I'm okay in front of a camera, because she said, you're either are supposed to do it or you're not supposed to do it. And I guess I'm supposed to do it.
Do you go to New York at all and do any auditioning now, or are you primarily in Newport?
I haven't done any auditioning in a while, simply because I've got all these projects that I'm doing, and I fulfill my need to do that by casting myself. You know, in Newport RI, the series, I'm one of the stars. But the only reason I cast myself as that is because I saw myself as that, okay? And I can be objective about that. And I have cast myself many times as a star of a play, but the plays were good.
Well, we are all kind of like the star of our own personal stories. Do you ever think about putting your own story on film?
I have had an interesting life, except I think it would be a comedy. I think it would definitely be a comedy. So, but what I would really like, I still would like to be an artistic director in a theater, because there's nothing like the creative element that happens in live theater. I mean, filming is wonderful, okay? But, you know, one of the things that Adrian Hall taught me is that there's the difference between film and theater is just 4 inches, and we never could understand that. But theater's from 4 feet, film's from 4 inches. So when you're acting, you got 4 inches of space on your face that you have to use. But when you're on a stage, you got your face, your body, your set, your people, your other cast members, and all of that stuff has to work at the same time. And it has to work in the moment. You can't cut, but on the flip side, you can't save it either, you know? And maybe that's what makes it so special. You can't save it, because when it's done, all right? And if I had to say where I'd like to see me be, is I would just love to have a little theater and be an artistic director and bring thought-provoking theater to people on a weekly basis.
Well, it's been very nice meeting
Hey,
you.
great to meet you.
You're definitely incredibly charming, and I love your stories, and I'd be glad to sit down and have a coffee with you anytime and hear more.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.